Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential and I'm here today to share my latest make with you. Everything I talk about is available on our lovely website, and I'll pop a link to our website below, and you can also find a link to sign up for our newsletter where you'll get a weekly dose of inspiration straight to your inbox. So the pattern I want to share with you today in fabric is the Belle dress by Style Arc Patterns. I fell in love with this pattern as soon as I saw it. Irena, who works for us in the office, she said it really reminds her of her mum's 1940s wedding dress. Just the detail on this dress is so beautiful, and I'll run you through that in a minute, but I'll just show you the full dress and give you a bit of a twirl to start with. So just describing the pattern, I mean, so much to talk about. Such a fun make, such a brilliant, clever, well drafted, well designed pattern for so many reasons. I'm going to talk you through all of that in a minute, but let's just start by describing how it's finished. So we've got the neckline is finished by fusing the edge of the fabric and folding that back on itself and top stitching it down, so there's no facings. It crosses over at the front. It's got these lovely gathers under the bust here. It's got a yoke that comes forward with the beautiful gathers under there. It's super pretty. Then it's got this lovely cummerbund style waistband with the buttons down it. The skirt's gathered to fit the waistband. And then the skirts are buttoned down, and it is a midi length, I would call it. So yeah, that's how kind of the front works. Then you've got these voluminous sleeves with gathers at the sleeve head, which I love because that makes inserting those super easy. And then the sleeve is gathered into elastic at the hem. There is an option to add a shirred panel on the sleeves, and I'm glad I didn't do that because I thought it would be a bit too much frill, and you know, it's a ditzy fabric. I just thought it'd be a bit too much. There's a lot going on with this dress as it is. And on that note, one of the things I'm thinking, I do love these sleeves, but I did think perhaps because the fabric is so ditzy, I thought, oh, what would it look like with a short sleeve? And I think I'm quite tempted, because of the elastic, I can try this out and see. But I'm quite tempted to shorten those sleeves and make it a short sleeve, because I think there is a lot of fabric in this dress, and with the ditzy print, I think that actually a short sleeve might work better. So tell me in the comments what you think. Really interested to hear what you think. But that's the front of the dress. Let's just untuck those sleeves again. Also, if you made this in a plain fabric, we've got some gorgeous crepe fabrics, plain crepe fabrics. If you made it in a crepe, oh my god, the details would sing and shine really well. So that's definitely worth considering as well. But I really like this. It reminds me of something from Nobody's Child, and I think this fabric might be Nobody's Child fabric. I'm not 100% sure. It is a dead stock, but I've got a feeling I might have seen this on their website at some point. So it really reminds me of their style of dresses, which I love and find really comfortable and easy to wear every day. The back has got a yoke. It's gathered under the yoke, and then it's gathered into a shirred panel on the back, which joins up with that lovely cummerbund on the front. And then the skirt, I think, is gathered at the back as well. And yeah, it's just super easy to wear, really comfortable. Lots of to talk about with the construction, but I really adore and love this pattern. I'm so happy with the fit of it. So let's get into some of the details now. So I should mention the fabric. Yeah, I think it's a dead stock. I've got a feeling it's a Nobody's Child, but it's got this beautiful ditzy print, and there are even little bees and little cherries on it, which I just think are so pretty. I love the vibrant blue colour, and it's a viscose challis, and just the weight and drape of it is perfect for a dress. It's quite weighty. It's not a really flimsy one, and I absolutely love that. And I think it would make great maxi skirts, and also a nice blouse as well, paired with jeans, would look great in this fabric. But just the weight and the drape of it is absolutely spot on for a lovely maxi dress or midi dress. So yeah, in terms of the pattern then, the sizing, the great thing about style arc patterns, and we stock all of the style arc patterns on our site. I think there's 96 designs at the last count I did. I'll pop a link to those below because they are really good patterns. And I think all of the designs, certainly this one and the vast majority of them, go up to a size 30. So they're really size inclusive, which is great. For this dress, I made the size 8, which was a 34 bust, 27.5 waist and a 36.5 hip. Now, the 27.5 waist wouldn't be big enough for me. So what I did was I just graded the cummerbund pieces out and added some width there. But I knew because of the shirred panel on the back, shirring, I'll put a link to a tutorial for shirring below actually, because I did one of those earlier this year, I think it was. Really fun, easy sewing technique. I'll pop details to that below, but basically it creates stretch in the fabric. And this is what I'm talking about with the design details on this pattern. Because you've got the shirring across the back, you get this lovely, this cummerbund that creates a lovely fitted shape around your waist. But you don't have to worry about the fit being absolutely spot on because the shirred panel gives you that leeway. So if the whole waistband was fitted, you'd have to get it spot on. You'd have to be really mindful of that. But I knew because of the shirred panel, I was like, well, I'll add a bit of width to the cummerbund. There's lots of room in the skirt and the top. So I didn't need to worry about anything. And I knew that that shirred panel would give me that movement that I needed, and it worked brilliantly. So that's one of the design details I absolutely love. The other one is the neckline. When I noticed that the buttons were only introduced at the cummerbund, there weren't any buttons higher up, I thought, oh, is this going to be really gapey? Is it going to be really plunging neckline? Is it going to be a bit of a nightmare in that respect? But not at all. It's so figure hugging, and I'm small busted, but it's just drafted so well that the neckline crosses over at the ideal point on me. Obviously everybody's body's different, but it really hugs and fits the body well, and I think that's partly due to the gathers under the yoke and the gathers under the bust, but just so easy to get a lovely fit out of this, which I really, really liked. I didn't have to make any other adjustments other than adding that little bit of width on the cummerbund because I just cut a straight size 8. I knew the skirt would have plenty of width in it and it was gathered, so I could make that fit. And that's the thing, all of these little details, the gathers and the shirring, they all mean that you can make the pattern fit without having to do complicated adjustments. I did do my high round back and forward shoulder adjustment that I always do. Just because I've got curvature at the top of my back, so I'll try and remember to put a link to that tutorial below as well. But yeah, no major fit adjustments on this pattern at all, and I'm really, really happy. I feel so comfortable in it. It just feels like it's just hugging my body in all the right places, but then also I've got this lovely sort of swishy drapey movement going on as well. It is just the perfect day dress. I just hope we get some more sort of warmish days so I can wear it before the summer's out. But I think you could certainly make this in a lovely dark floral fabric as well, and then easily style it for winter. Just add a knit, you add a cardigan or a jumper and boots, and I think you could easily style this dress for winter and autumn as well. So construction wise, one thing I will say is the instructions aren't massively detailed. So if you're a relatively experienced sewer, you're happy to just sort of have a go, work things out. If the instructions aren't explicit enough, then this would be fine for you. I had to just a couple of times put different pattern pieces, put the fabric together and just kind of run through it in my mind to check I'd got it right. But I quite enjoy doing that because it adds a little bit of challenge for me. If you're a complete beginner, I'd say these instructions weren't good enough. But yeah, if you've got, you've made a few garments, you've got some sewing experience, you're willing to have a go, definitely. And if you've got like a decent amount of sewing experience, it won't be a problem at all. There is also a sew along that somebody did on YouTube, and Style Arc have shared that on their website, so you could always take a look at that as well. But I really liked the construction. I think the design details are clever, the drafting is clever, but I think the construction was really clever as well, because you got a really nice clean finish on the inside. So the way it worked was you constructed the bodice first, and then the skirt, but you did the side seams last. And where the cummerbund is double-sided and the bodice piece is the bodice is sandwiched between the cummerbund, so inside there's a nice clean finish on that. They also did that with the yoke as well. So I was going to do the burrito method for sewing the yoke on the back, but then I realised I couldn't do that, because actually you finish the neckline at the back by stitching the yoke together. So I wasn't able to do the burrito method because there wasn't like actually no, thinking about it, I'm thinking of a collar or something, aren't I, on the burrito method, I think. But anyway, I remember thinking, no, I can't do it like that, because I need to, the neckline is finished where the yoke and the bodice are stitched together and then turned the right way. So I just followed the pattern instructions anyway. If anyone's wondering what on earth the burrito method is, I did a tutorial on that a while ago as well. I'll pop a link to that below for you, because that is a really good tutorial. People love that one. But yeah, so the construction, yeah, it was really neat, really clean finish. It was really satisfying to make. It was lovely how it all came together. Just thoroughly enjoyed it. I think one of the things I did was I also used my Simflex sewing gauge. I've got one of these up here actually. I've been talking about these a bit on Instagram this week, I think. But yeah, I've got one of these Simflex sewing gauges, and what these enable you to do is just space your buttonholes evenly. If you don't want to use the sizing suggested on the pattern, or you kind of want to put things in a different place, or you just don't want to faff around with pattern pieces and get all the pattern pieces out and mark the buttonholes again, you can just use a Simflex sewing gauge and just check that you've spaced your buttonholes evenly. So I did that. I just positioned the ones on the cummerbund that I wanted, and then I used the gauge to just make sure the ones on the skirt were evenly positioned, and that was really good. Yeah, I've said I'll put a video below. I'll put a link to the video below on how to sew the shirring for anyone who hasn't done that before. But yeah, all in all, just absolutely love this pattern. I think it is up there as one of my all-time favourites, because I just think the design and the construction of it is really clever and really thoughtful. But not only that, it is an absolute joy to wear. As I said, it feels comfortable. It feels fitted in all the right places, and then it feels nice and loose and floaty in all the right places as well. I think it looks really nice in my straw bag, which I like to use a lot during the summer. And I've just got some little simple flip-flops or thongs on with it. But then I could wear trainers as well. I can put my denim jacket on for a layer. Like I say, I'm considering shortening those sleeves, so interested to hear what you guys think about that, but I think that might look quite pretty with a short sleeve, and just give a bit more skin to kind of break the print up a bit. But yeah, overall just absolutely delighted with this dress, and highly recommend. So do check out all the links for tutorials, patterns, fabrics that I've talked about today. They'll all be below. If you like what you see today, please like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.